Oh,
What up, dude?
Yeah.
What's up, bro? How you doing, man?
Dude,
What's up, man? Thanks for joining us, bro.
Hey, you see,
Feeling all right?
Feeling good.
Swish up! Swish up! He fucking nailed that one, huh? He nailed that one.
God damn.
We can't match your juice, man.
Oh,
Hey,
man,
that's
what's
you.
the word? Bro, this is sweet.
This is sweet, right?
It's dope.
Thank you, man. What are you doing out here, Arizona? Spring training?
Commissioners.
Commissioners?
I was
doing
just with
stuff?
Jason Kendall, bro. He was like, oh my God, bro. Tell
kids
my
out here?
boys I said what up.
Oh, I got to text
We
him.
gotta
I
text
didn't
Well, by the way,
know.
because we got that big party tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're trying to get everyone to cruise through that party, and we're all there for that. Yeah, because
way.
we did. EJ and Brian, they head up the engagement team now for Major League Baseball. And you know, for the longest time, bro, we had like the commissioner's office and the players, bro. It was like a no back and forth. But now we're just trying to kind of expand that a little bit through the commissioner's ambassador program, let these young cats know times are changing and things are different. And you don't have to have that same sort of animosity as you used to have towards the commissioner's office, which I think is really
Yeah, man. It's a collaboration.
Well, and anytime you bring all the cool kids, bro, you bring like CC and them boys in, just standing there, people are
Yes.
like, oh,
So we went to in the Bronx, they did the World Series suites in right field. There was like 3 of them lined up. Anthony and I went, checked out a game.
Yeah.
They have a lot of different stuff that they have when we didn't play, like the all MLB awards in Vegas. A lot of different shit going on like that, right?
Yeah, went to that last year too, which was great.
Very
Only
cool.
going to continue to keep getting better.
Yeah.
I feel like it's, it's hard to get guys to show up.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, unless you're paying dudes to show up, they're like, bro, this is my off time.
Yeah.
Like, I got to figure out, I'm with my family, with my kids and my wife. I want to spend as much time with them as I can.
Yeah.
So I totally understand it, but I'm like, yo, 3 days in Vegas, man? Cruise over there for that. You know what I'm saying?
Go to the Swisher Suite, baby.
That's
We're in.
it, baby. Come on with me, bro. I'm rolling with you, bro.
Hey, so is MLB really trying to make an effort?
I was just thinking the same thing.
Yeah, to reach that younger demographic. I think MLB has been vulnerable with us at least, which has been cool about, we definitely did miss that younger demographic, that
100%.
YouTube era. So
and I think that's what we're trying to do. I think we're just trying to be the middleman in between the commissioner's office and the players.
Yeah.
To let them know, like, hey, we're not here to try and screw you.
Yeah.
Because I remember back in the day, even my dad used to tell me back in the 70s, he was like, whoa, stay away from the commissioner's office.
Right,
You know
right.
what I'm saying? Like, you're part of the team. You're a player. It's different. But now, just being able to understand and get a look under the hood of what exactly the commissioner is really doing. Like back in the day, you just heard stories. I never went to the office
Never.
and checked it out.
Never.
I never heard of a fucking engagement team.
Right.
So now it's like all these young Thundercats can utilize this to it's at their fingertips, bro. Like they have so much reach. Dude, the commissioner's office can get a hold of anybody at any time.
Oh, yeah.
And so anything that they can do, they want to help. And I think that's really, really cool. At least being part of that team, being part of that crew, I guess, that's kind of like trying to change the way the culture is. Because if you get the young kids and you teach them, like, hey, man, it's different than what it used to be, then they'll kind of grow up with that. And then they can teach the young kids when they become the veterans,
When did that shift happen? Like, when did you feel, because you and I like came up in a different era where it was, they are bad.
Yes.
When did you feel the actual shift? Did it come from the commissioners or did it come from the players approaching
I
them?
think 2 years ago, I was brought into the Commissioner's Ambassador Program, and I really got to hang with Rob.
Right.
And I got to learn, and I got to meet everybody that was attached with him, and everybody in the office, and exactly why they do the things they do. And I think there's a lot of knowledge in that, just to have an understanding of exactly what they're doing. And listen, I mean, the commissioner's got, 4 years left on his contract before he's going to shut it down? So he wants to make a good mark. And I think they're doing a great job by bringing over a lot of the, some of the great, ex-players. Just because you know how it is, but you walk into a locker room with the commissioner's office and no players, you're like, oh, here we go again.
You got a bunch of suits
Here-
walking
yeah,
in.
exactly. But then you roll in and you got, Fred McGriff and freaking, CC Sabathia and like all these huge name guys. You're like, oh, we'll pay attention a little bit to this.
You have nothing but
100%.
respect.
You give them that little extra respect.
It's a little different now. Like when I was in Atlanta, we were playing in Atlanta, CC and Raul Ibanez rolling. I'm like, Hov is here. Like,
Exactly,
okay, like,
dude, no doubt.
all right, like I should probably listen to what this guy's saying today. So
And I think that's what we're trying to do. I think it's a slow and steady race. But at the end of the day, if you just stay consistent in who you are, and your messaging to young players, I think that's really going to take a big hit. You know, when things
Absolutely.
Are you so invested in this now because you feel like as a player when you came up, your energy level was unmatched by anybody in the league, your exposure? I think right now, if Nick Swisher was playing, you'd have a podcast, you'd be on shows, you'd be doing it all as well as being a player. And there's been a real shift into exposing players and showing personalities and letting them be themselves as opposed
100%.
to shut your mouth.
Yeah, I mean, and you can even remember back when you first got to the league.
Yeah.
And all of us, I mean, y'all got a little later, but at the end of the day, when social media was brought up, it was like, yo, that could kill your career.
Right.
Yeah.
That could absolutely destroy your career.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, with someone with a personality, I want to get that out. I want other people to know, you know, what's going down. And so I think for myself, at least on the front of the energy side of it, over the last 3 years, I've started working a lot with our player development with the New York Yankees. This is my 8th year as a special advisor. And so like I've done a lot of stuff at the big league level, helping Aaron Boone, helping the team, but now I feel like I'm so much more influential with those younger kids because my energy matches up with that. I look the part, I sound the part, I got the energy to match it, and I think that really kind of works out. I mean, I always try to be the coach that I would always want to have. And I think we all kind of look at that. You kind of look at your personality and you're like, yo, I would want to be that guy.
Absolutely.
I would be one of that coach is bouncing off the walls, telling me how good my hair looked, bro, complimenting me on my kicks, bro.
Just gassing you up.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, I look at these players as piggy banks. You got to put a bunch of deposits in these kids nowadays, bro. Because at some point, I'm going to have to get in your ass.
Yeah.
And at some point, I have to know that I have enough money in the bottom of that piggy bank, enough compliments to know that once I get done having that tough conversation with you, you're still going to know that I love you.
Absolutely, man.
Because I think in today's game, or in today's world, you know, even with NIL, it's just teaching kids, hey, you run into troubles,
Leave.
pack your shit and leave.
Right.
Go to the next spot. And I don't like that. It's like all life is going through adversity. And you're going to have to run through that adversity at some point in your life. And so for me, it's like I want to make sure these kids are strong enough and understand that, hey, not everything's going to go great. I mean, you succeed 3 out of 10 times in our game, boys. We going to Cooperstown.
Yeah, man.
There's no other job on the planet that you could succeed 3 out of 10 times and still be considered one of the best.
It's wild.
Swish, when did you realize that your energy, your personality, that when you walk into a room, you can change the temperature of the room? When did you realize that about yourself?
3rd grade? No, I don't know. I mean, listen, it's a lot easier to harness this sort of juice at 44 than it was at like 8 or 9. You know what I mean? I mean, I can't even imagine. Worthington Hills Elementary School, bro, I can't even imagine how many detention days I had, bro, for sure, just for talking out loud or the whole 9.
You're able to harness juice right now?
I mean, but people are like, back in the day, like, yo, this guy's off the wall, this guy's out of control. But now people are like, oh, man, that guy's got great energy. But I've been the same fucking guy from the beginning of my life until now. And I think that's why it maybe plays. Because I think consistency is one of the things that I've always not struggled with, but most of the time when people meet me, they're like, no way that's real. No fucking way that's real.
Right.
No way that guy's like that every day. But if I'm consistently like this every day, you don't have a choice but to believe me. And so at the end of the day, that's why I try and be consistent in everything that I'm doing. On the field, I was a very consistent player. Off the field, I'm very consistent. And I think in life, if you have that consistency and someone else knows what you're getting from me, then I think it's easier to have that relationship, easier to interact with someone like that.
Yeah, and that consistency as a player, that's all you're looking for from a coach. Like you said, if you're depositing in the piggy bank every day and then you do get on my, it's like, man, this guy really does care for me.
No shit.
And I think that's where you win, like you win the player over because it's like, okay, man, this guy can relate to what I'm going through. At the end of the day, a player wants an ex-player to remember how hard the game is. And it's getting harder and harder. So I think that's perfect. I love that. And what I love about that also is you have that respect in MLB. I feel like from the outside looking in, a lot of fans have gotten to know the business side of baseball. And that's kind of become a separation. So now seeing like guys like yourself, CC, saying, hey, this is different. It's okay to like the commissioner's office because the game can grow together as a collaboration. And what you said too, it's okay to be different. I mean, man, you went to some big ass markets, dude. And you went to New York, the Yankees, where the narrative was, hey, this is all business. I mean, you had to cut the hair, you had to cut the
suits and ties, the whole 9.
Yes, dude. So like how there had to have been, I don't know if you call it nerves, but the thought had to cross your mind, like, I'm going in with Jeter, Posada, these guys are serious about it.
No doubt.
Do I got to button up or do I just stay the same? What's the thought there?
I mean, bro, those guys, when they met me, they were
All
like, bro, who the f is this guy? For sure. They had to have been. They were just like, no way. Who is this guy, dude? Like, but I think the one thing that I give the core four, and I think CC will say the same thing, as well as AJ Burnett. When we all came in there, bro, that's 3 big personalities, bro.
Yeah, man.
And the core four could have squashed that. They could have told us, hey, that's not what we do here. That's not it. But I think Jeter and Mo and Pettit and Posada, them boys realized for us to be successful and to win, especially after 08 not going to the playoffs, right? 09, we all come in. At some point, you have to realize, like, wow, maybe there needs to make a little adjustment in what we're doing. And maybe the headphone locker room isn't the best thing for us.
Right.
And our new team, at least in 2009. And that was the year, bro, that we started the pies. Remember when AJ Burnett came out with the shaving cream pies, bro, and slamming that in everybody's face? Bro, I think we had like 17 walk-off wins that year.
Damn.
But once again, that team was amazing because we rallied around it. All the great teams, I mean, your World Series run, you guys rallied around a certain thing.
Yep.
You see what I'm saying? You have to have something that you wrap your arms around, bro, because it's not the money. Everybody's got you money now. So you got to find something deeper than that to really get these guys to buy into what you're selling. Because in today's game, you have to be a salesman. You have to get them on board for what you're doing. And even for myself, for the New York Yankees, bro, on the minor league side, I'm pumping these fools, letting them know how blessed you are to be here. Because you could be somewhere else. And so, like, when guys do leave, that's when I get the phone calls, be like, man, you were right. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I'm not trying to make it sound like the Yankees are the only team out there. But it was my best experience.
It's
And
the
so-
Yankees.
yeah.
It's the Yankees.
How else am I going to pump that?
It's a worldwide brand.
Worldwide brand, bro. I mean, you even look at like what Ohtani's doing in the game, bro. I mean, like talk about raising the level of Los Angeles Dodgers. A tremendous season last year, bro. I mean, obviously the World Series run, the whole 9 was a great year, but
Unreal.
I still think when you talk about Major League Baseball and you say what's the first team you think about, it's the New York Yankees.
Absolutely, man.
And so that's where it's kind of like, okay, if this is where we are, bro, it's been 16 years, gentlemen, since we pulled the chip. 16 years since we pulled one of these.
Yep.
And New York fans, bro, they expect greatness a lot.
Sure do.
And so that's where it's kind of like Booney just signed his 2-year extension, bro. I'm so juiced for that.
Right.
You know, last year getting to the World Series, kind of busting through that door. Obviously, not exactly working the way we wanted it to in the playoffs. But at the end of the day, just having to understand how lucky you are to be there and to play in that, bro. Boys, I was at the World Series, and when Ice Cube came out from center field, bro, oh, God. It was almost like, oh, bro, it's going to be a tough one, boy.
How hard is that, though, Swish? Like, you have to, and it's translates in baseball so many ways, but you have to be consistent day in and day out, because in baseball, you win your teammates over that long course of, the 6-7 months. It's like spring training, like you said, you can roll in there with your energy, and they're like, who the f is this guy? But then July comes around, and it's like, dude, that's Swish. So to fight through those hard times and be like, all right, man, like Jeter and these guys probably won't like it, but I trust that I'm gonna, trust this
I'm gonna win
throughout,
them over.
and I'm gonna win them over.
Yeah.
Is that a little bit of the Yankee mentality right now with Booney? Is yes, it's the Yankees. Yes, we're buttoned up. They just recently talked about the shaving now.
Seen that.
So is there like, are we trying to find that balance in
I think so. I think, listen,
Yankee Way and
times are
being
changing.
guys and being
times
loose?
are changing. And, in today's world, it's a little more lax than what
Right.
it was 5-6 years ago,
Yes.
right? So the facial hair thing has always been a thing. We've been talking about that for the last 5-6 years. A lot of ex-players, a lot of current players, staff, everyone saying like, hey, is this what makes us different? Is it just the facial hair that makes us different than everyone? And in my mind, it takes a little extra time to be a Yankee. And I kind of like that. But I kind of understand that, hey, in today's market, you may not want to come to the New York Yankees because there are things that you have to do that you're not normally used to doing. And so maybe making that little adjustment. And I think the way he came out with a statement today, I'm interested to see what a well-groomed beard is. I mean, I think like that would probably suffice. But at the end of the day, I'm thinking to myself, I don't know about that.
We got to line it up just a little bit.
But at the end of the day, like, times are changing.
Yeah.
And I think that's the one thing that maybe we can do a better job of is keeping up with the times. But I think this is a step for us moving in the right direction. I think there's going to be a ton of people that don't like it. I think there's going to be a lot of people that do like the rule.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, man, it's like, it's all about winning. And if that is just something that gets in the way of winning ball games, why the f you got that rule? For what?
man.
What's it do?
That
I
kind
agree.
of brings me back to what I was going to say earlier. Like the adjustment that Core 4 made for you when
Right.
you came in, and Burnett and CC, like that was unbelievable. Like to realize that, we need these guys to be their best selves on the field. So in order to be their best selves on the field, we got to let them do what they normally do. And then now you got the Yankees with the facial hair. Like it's an adjustment. It took a little time, but like this could be like maybe a reason this gets us over the hump now.
Yeah, well, I mean, listen, come free agent market now, this is not an issue anymore, right? This is not something that comes up in conversations anymore. Do you want to be a New York Yankee or do you not? And I think that's really what it boils down to.
Yeah.
And for myself, bro, I'm jumping on that. I mean, I'm there, bro. I want to be there.
No doubt.
Because at the end of the day, and I'm very blessed to be able to be part of a winning team, to win in New York, bro. When you win in New York, you're on a pedestal for life.
No doubt.
Like you're remembered for life. And I think that's the one thing I really, really love about the organization. It's such a generational organization.
Yes.
And, I'm looking around and I see a lot of these young Thundercats, these young kids out there. And, bro, they never partied with us. They never partied with the Yankees. I mean, 2009, bro, I mean, I'm still pumping 2009. That was damn near 16 years ago, right?
Yeah.
So I think just, at least getting ourselves back over that hump and getting ourselves into the World Series and winning again, then I think that really kind of brings it all back again.
What about that transitions perfectly into Judge, man, 99? Because you talk about a guy that understands that. We need to party with those guys,
Yep.
and I'm going to do everything I can to make sure we do that. Just to give everybody an understanding, because none of us got to play in New York,
Sure.
and we've always heard that when you're in New York, it's that much more, and it is.
Yes.
So the way this guy goes about his business, I mean, what a perfect guy to be a superstar in that city, that for this game, because everything's different. The social media era now, like you said, man, the phones, Jeter went through his era, did it unbelievable. The way Judge is doing it now, I mean, it's flawless. So to say.
Yeah, I mean, listen, just like the New York Yankees, Aaron Judge is almost larger than life, if you think about it. I mean, 6'8", 280 plus pounds. I mean, bro, he's an absolute
Beast.
monster.
Yeah.
And the way he goes about his business is exactly what you want your star in New York to go about it the right way, right? He handles the press well. He's a perennial all-star, perennial MVP almost every season he's out there.
Yeah.
One of the best players in the game. And even I do give him a lot of credit because last year when Juan Soto came over, that could have been something.
Definitely.
That could definitely have been a little drama because all of a sudden Juan comes in and he kind of took over the market there for a minute. But Aaron just quietly did his thing, quietly hit his 50 jacks again, bro. Drove in 180 some runs or whatever it was, something crazy like that. But at the end of the day, that's because he wants to win.
Yeah.
He don't give a who's on the team. He don't care how it gets done. He just wants to win. And I think that's what you want from a leader. That's what you want from your best player on the team. Because when your best player on your team is setting the tone, then everyone falls in line. You guys understand that. You guys had that culture.
Yeah.
I remember in 14 when y'all lost and came back and ran it back in 15. You know how difficult that is? Especially going and losing the way y'all did at home, game 7, bro. I was there. I was working with Fox. I saw it.
Yep.
And I was like, this could be something that could absolutely destroy these boys. And the next thing you know, y'all pulled it back together, rallied around each other, realized the pieces that you needed to have, and you ran it through the next year,
Right.
bro. That's almost unheard of. Don't get me wrong, you guys had an unbelievably talented team, bro.
Yeah.
No doubt about it, dude, for real.
Yeah.
But I think our mindset was the next year in spring training was we all showed up early and we had a chip on our shoulder. It's time to go. It's time to rock.
Yeah.
We got a taste of it. We want more.
Yeah.
We need to win. And so we all showed up early that year. What's it like in camp right now? Have you been over there yet?
Yeah, every day. I mean, I live in Tampa, so I'm
Right.
at the ball. Drop my kids off at school, and I'm at the ballpark almost every day.
Yeah.
Seeing the early entrances of a lot of players that maybe didn't show up that early is kind of what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I think just the way everything went down in the postseason last year after the World Series and the things that were maybe said about our organization and how we were maybe undisciplined and kind of lazy in a sense. And I think that's what the boys are out to prove that is not true. And I think that's why you bring over somebody like a Cody Bellinger, who's got a lot to prove. Paul Goldschmidt, who had a rough year last year, got a lot to prove.
Oh, yeah.
You bring over Max Fried, who's had the lowest ERA since 2020, still got a lot to prove.
Yep.
So I think there's just so many guys that are coming over that have that chip on your shoulder, which you gotta have.
Have to.
Bro,
Yes.
you gotta have something. Because in this game, dude, you're not looking, I'm not trying to be your buddy. I'm trying to win every day. And if I gotta step on a few people along the way, then I'm sorry. But that's exactly how I'm gonna go about it.
Yeah, no question, man. Aaron Judge this guy can hit another 50 home runs this year, 55 home runs, and that first playoff game, it's the Yankee fans are going to be like, all right, here we go. Now your season starts.
Exactly.
It's so different what that guy
So
goes through.
different, right? Because it doesn't even matter what you do in the regular season.
Yeah.
Because everyone expects you to be in the postseason every year. And we have 27 years in a row, which has been absolutely fantastic. Brian Cashman has led a team 27 seasons in a row, or 22, something like that, to the postseason. Bro, that's almost unheard of. And so I think 08 was the last year that, that they might not have. right? Every other year just seems like everyone's just banging through, getting ourselves in there. But everybody knows those 11 wins in the postseason are the hardest 11 wins of the season.
I think Chucky has something.
Do the Yankees fans still thank you for Aaron Judge?
I'm the gift that keeps on giving, bro. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, because when I signed with Cleveland, the Indians, now the Guardians at the time, but he was the compensation pick for me. But I was also the compensation pick for Johnny Damon. So I think it all works itself together.
Yeah,
But, I just remember the first time, bro, 2016, I get released by the Braves. And I go into Scranton, bro, trying to make a comeback. I'm like, I got this. I'm in the shower. And all of a sudden, I'm looking down and I see this 6'8" monster walking in the showers. I'm like, get out until I'm done, bro. Until I'm done.
Yeah, until I'm done.
But he was one of those kids that I still call him a kid, bro. He's still a puppy in life. You know what I'm saying? I always call him my little bigger brother. But he was just one of those guys that, every day, one of the best restaurants we had in Scranton was Waffle House. And so every day I told the team, anyone that showed up at the Waffle House at 11:30, I would pay for their breakfast. Because I could feed the whole team for like $42, bro. You know what I'm saying? So anybody that wanted to come. So that's where I think for myself, I really started to develop my relationships with that next generation of players. And I was so blessed. It was a blessing and a curse.
I was going to say, it's a tough pill to swallow.
Bro. The fact
Someone
that
like you?
Yeah, dude. I got an ego, right? And the fact that I still thought I had a little bit of juice left, and I thought I was going to get at least one more game. That's all I wanted was one more game. But at the end of the day, it didn't work out, and I had to come to grips with that. And I feel like going back and being kind of like the leader in that locker room with the baby bombers, and that was when they all were coming up, bro. Tyler Austin and Gary Sanchez and Judge and the whole nine, along with some other arms. So just being able to be around those guys and maybe teach them a little bit of something early, I think was really, really beneficial for me because that really helped me in my mentor role that I have now.
Yeah, that's a great point, especially with Judge because, with Boston, as soon as Bregman signs over there, that's a huge issue that...
Thank God Boston's got something instead of us.
Right. It's like
dude.
that doesn't even, now that you bring that up, wasn't even a conversation with the Yankees, and now we see that, a couple years,
well, but I
years
also
later
think that's
with
why
Boston.
communication is crucial.
Yeah.
Like, how the hell do you not talk to your best player? How do you not talk to Devers being like, hey, man, we're thinking about going, because I saw it in the news.
Right.
They were either going to get Arenado or Bregman. And the next thing you know, I see his interview, and he's like, I played third. Yeah. And so what do you think Bregman's thinking right now? Like, yeah. What's going to happen? The Boston's number one prospect's a second baseman. So
DH.
Where's he? Yeah, you can't DH. You can't DH Bregman, can you?
Not Breggs, no.
No, I'm thinking to myself, eventually I'm hoping, maybe Cora has a relationship with him enough to help him through this.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. The games that I watched Devers play against the Yankees, bro, he looks like Brooks Robinson over there. So I'm just like, you don't want to take that guy out for third base,
Dude.
You
gotta keep him happy too.
Yeah, also, too, he's your best player.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's had the last couple of years of hitting 330 and whatever. Don't mess with that, right?
Yeah.
Don't mess with that.
Let him have his same routine. And
by the way, last year was a huge jump for that organization moving forward. Right? You got Duran in center field, bro, who is absolutely electric.
He is, dude.
That
He
kid
plays
is
his
to watch, bro.
Yeah.
He really is, because he got the you written on his tape, bro.
love
He
it.
don't care, dude.
I love it.
He's just out there grinding and playing the game that he loves, and I feel like I vibe off of that guy.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, hell yeah, bro, that's what I did.
he's yoked too.
Bro, and he's jacked.
He's fucking
For
yoked,
real, that guy's
dude.
yoked. I'm like, yo,
Oh, man.
Cuz, what kind of stack you on, dog?
Swish, man. Towards the end of my career, the last 2 years, I bounced around Boston, Chicago, some big markets, man. Just got to experience it as kind of that, extra role guy or whatnot. But you, man, you were, Oakland to the White Sox, New York. You played in some big time markets.
I was very
dude.
blessed. Yes, sir.
How did you, did you learn something from each stop that kind of
Yeah, of
what you
course.
do in your leadership role?
Yeah, of course. I was very lucky. Coming up with the Oakland A's, bro, we were just a bunch of young punks, bro.
Yeah.
We had the long hair because our idol was Jason Giambi.
Hell
And
yeah,
everybody wanted Giambi. You remember the Sports Illustrated cover? He's got the cut-off sleeves,
Yeah.
bro, and his pipes are jacked. He's got the long hair. He's got the tattoos. I'm like, that's who I want to be.
my guy. That guy's
He's
in
dating
Milwaukee.
Jenna Jameson. I'm like, that's who we want to be. You know what I mean? When we were all 22.
I wanna be that guy.
we're like,
Yeah.
we want to be that guy. You know?
Yeah. They got those pictures in Milwaukee in the weight room, the
Oh,
visiting weight
still
room. They still got
unbelievable,
those.
yeah.
Dude, yeah, right?
Yeah,
Bro, I'll never forget that.
yeah.
That Sports Illustrated was amazing.
Hell yeah.
So being able to come up with all those young guys, you really realize that in baseball, at least for the Oakland A's, if you posted, you moved. And there's something to be said about that for the minor leagues, man, because in the minor leagues, if you have success and you start moving up the ladder, it just gives you more confidence and more confidence. And Oakland, Sacramento now, But Oakland had to do that
Yep.
because
they
they
needed
couldn't
you.
go out and get the free agents. So you had to have those guys come up from within the organization.
Yeah, couldn't
and we
miss.
had
Couldn't miss on draft picks.
couldn't miss.
Yep.
You had the Joe Blantons of the world, the Houston Streets, myself. We all kind of came up right around the same time. Rich Harden, who was right around the same age as all of us. So being able to have all those guys come up at the same time, it was like, bro, we were living a dream. We're all like 22, 23 years old.
Bunch of dogs.
We're playing big league ball, dude. We're hanging out afterwards. I'm like, bro, what? This is amazing.
Hell yeah,
I love
dude.
this life. And then I went to Chicago with the White Sox, and I ran into a little bit of an issue there.
What was that?
With Ozzie Guillen, right? and we didn't get along, which is fine.
Right.
I mean, you don't get along with everybody, and that's okay. But I was able to have mentors in there like Jim Thome and Paul Konerko and Jermaine Dye and Ken Griffey Jr. was over there. So being able to have all those studs, bro, you just watch how they go about their business. That helped me so much moving forward because that was a veteran-driven team.
Yes.
So I come from a bunch of young rookies to a veteran-driven team with the White Sox, and then I go to the New York Yankees, which is obviously run by the Core Four.
Yeah.
So it taught me so much. All the bad things that happened to me that year, I learned so much about every experience because on and off the field, bro, I wasn't at my best. And there's no doubt about that. And I have no problem saying that.
Right.
But I learned a lot. I wouldn't change a thing because, bro, I got my ass kicked a lot. And I was okay with that.
Yeah.
Because maybe I wasn't prepared enough. Maybe I let some other things get in my head and I just wasn't focused enough or whatever. But when I went to New York, I was able to push all that behind. Because Brian Cashman called me and he said, Swish, we know that's not the type of player you are. We believe in you. And bro,
That's
you
big.
say that to me, I'll run through a brick wall for you.
No
Like
doubt,
I'm
that's
the guy,
huge.
you give me a hug, bro, I'll kill somebody for you. You know what I mean? Like that's just the loyalty that I have. But I love that love. And Brian Cashman's pulled me out of the gutters twice in my life. One after that year in Chicago, and then two after I retired. Because you know, all of us know when you retire, bro, there's a hole.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
100%. And you don't know what to do. I remember just laying on the couch for weeks on end. Gained like 20 pounds, dude. I was just a slob. Horrible. And the next thing you know, my wife and my best friend Kate literally kicked my ass off the couch. They were like, yo, get your ass up. Time to go to work. Finally shaved, bro. Got my shit together, shaved, dropped another 15 pounds, bro, you know?
Yeah.
And got myself rolling. But like you said, you always run through adversity, man. You always run through tough times in life. It's how you're going to deal with those tough times that defines who you are as a human being, in my mind.
Yeah. No, you surely did bounce back from that, man, because especially tough times in a professional setting, dude, when it's publicly known.
Yeah.
Like you with Ozzie. I didn't go through the best time in San Diego when it was
Of course.
publicly known.
Sure.
And, you know, I felt like after San Diego, too, as a baseball player, and just being fully transparent, but I felt like I needed to have success on the field to really, really give me that confidence. You know what I mean? To get that full confidence back, because I feel like I was brought in there to change the culture, be a locker room guy.
Because you are.
Yeah, and there was a lot of stuff going on that, you know, I didn't think was the right way to preach winning. You know what I mean? I don't think you should approach a guy 5 minutes after the game and tell him what he did wrong and the reason why we lost the game, especially a big emotional series. There's so many things that happen like that. So do you think having success after that tough time in Chicago helped you? Or
Hell
do you
yeah,
just
bro.
think mentally, man, being around those guys?
Because it leveled me back off.
Yeah.
As my boy Bruce Arians would always say, man, I got my levels right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He's the
Tampa,
best,
baby.
dude. I
Yeah,
play
what a
golf with him
legend.
all the time. He's the best.
That's awesome.
But at the end of the day, like sometimes you lose yourself in the game because you're so used to being a certain way. And I could look back on all y'all's careers and I could probably tell you the years that you scuffled. And there's something to be said about that.
Right.
Because that's that moment of your career when you're like, whoa, what am I gonna do here? Because I remember my dad always used to telling me, like, son, you gotta get back on the horse. You gotta get back on the horse. You gotta get back. But when you really get knocked off that horse, it hurts.
Right.
And it's hard to get back up.
Yeah.
And so I think that, you know, being able to have my family has always been my number one, bro. And I've been so blessed to be able to have a rock like that. And then when I met my wife, Jo, she's the best, bro. Like, she has just been so much for me. And being able to have people like that in your life is crucial. That's the biggest thing I try and tell all my young kids is like, you gotta have a circle. You gotta have an amazing group of people around you to help you through this because this is not a normal life. This is not, you're publicly pounded on, bro, when you're not doing well. Especially when you start making money and you're not playing well, then they're like, then they really get on you, you know?
But then in your case, man, it kind of, from the outside looking in, it kind of doubles down because your wife is in the public eye. So
Yes.
you guys, how do you balance that so well? And how do you just
Hey,
move
listen,
on
man,
and not worry
I
about
feel
it?
like I have a great perspective right now because when Joe and I first met in 09, fell in love, won the World Series, bro. Like, I was on top of the world. Like, she saw me turn into a star. And now I'm the trophy husband. Right? I'm back in the crib. Mama's rocking and rolling, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, she was just in Ireland this past week, started a production company. She's producing her first movie. Wow. And so I'm like, she's behind the scenes. She's in front of the camera. I'm just like, I have such a great perspective of that because I love being a teammate. And you know, when you get your woman, bro, like, you know, if you get the right one, bro, it's the best because you're part of a team again. And I think the underlying value that Joe and I both have is that we both want the other one to succeed. And it doesn't matter who succeeds. It's just, at the end of the day, we're putting everything in the same pot. Yeah. So I tell her all the time, like, Mama, I ran us through the first half of this. You're up.
Got it, man. Take us home.
You're up, Mama.
Take us home.
I tell Steph that all the time too.
Come on, man.
Well, it's not like you're just sitting still. Like, you're involved in the Dubai League, you're involved in Home Run X, you're involved in more things now than you probably thought you would be,
100%.
especially laying on the couch.
I think what all of us kind of do, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we're all kind of involved with a lot more stuff than what we were when we were playing, but I think that's good for us. I think that's good because if you sit at home and you don't got nothing going on, bro, you're just gonna sit there.
Yeah.
And nothing's gonna happen.
Absolutely.
And so that's where it's kind of like, even for myself, when these awesome, amazing opportunities have come up, I've been very blessed that I don't have to chase jobs for the money. I can chase jobs for the passion. And I feel like that's my best gift, is my passion. And it's even like with Home Run Derby X, which has been amazing, which I'm gonna get you two fools in that
baby.
thing for
Hey,
sure.
I've been
Let's
stretching
go.
out, baby.
Kansas City, bro, they're gonna love y'all, man. They're gonna love y'all.
Hey, I was about a week away from that get the hell off the couch moment, and then I heard about Home Run Derby X. I'm like, oh, baby.
Let's go.
It's time to start stretching out.
It's our version of
baby.
3-on-3, you know? But that's one of those things, too, where, you know, like you're saying, you know, we got the league in Dubai, right? You know, Baseball United, which is rocking and rolling, just had our first series. Arabia Wolf versus the Mideast Falcons, right? Robbie Cano, Didi Gregorius, Pablo Sandoval, Jair Jurgens. Well, we got all them boys,
Is
right?
that style to be more of a winter league?
Yeah, so it's gonna go November, December.
Okay.
That's gonna be our season. This starts this year,
Sick.
which is amazing, right?
Good,
And anytime you get the chance to go over to Dubai, bro, go.
Yeah, no
Check it
doubt.
out, right? I mean, it's one of the cleanest places you've ever been.
Mm-hmm.
There's 8 million cameras in the city, bro. Like, you know, things, you know, they have rules over there.
Right.
Right? So, you know, that's kind of one of the things I tell the players. I'm like, hey, if you want to come here,
It's different.
It's different,
Yeah.
right? You got to be able to fall in line a little bit. But just being able to have the blessing to do those things is absolutely amazing. But I don't think you get those opportunities if you don't do it right the whole way.
Yeah.
Right? If you're not doing it right all the way up, you're not going to develop those relationships with the right people. You're not going to get the opportunities to be part of the cool projects that maybe you wish you were. But for me, I feel like I've always tried to be the best version of myself, and maybe sometimes I'm not, but most of the time I try to be that.
Yeah.
But even being part of the Commissioner's Ambassador Program, that's the doing of decades of work, rather than like just showing up. You know, I wasn't an MVP, bro. I made one All-Star team. Like I'm an advisor for the New York Yankees, bro.
Tight, dude.
You could have picked anybody you wanted, but for some reason you chose me.
Yeah.
So there must be something that I'm doing that other people aren't, and I feel like that's kind of the things that you can really kind of look at yourself in the mirror and be like, man, I'm doing something.
Yeah.
I must be doing something, you know.
And even from the TV end, because again, when we're players and you look at the TV and a guy's doing media, it's like, I feel like early in my career, it was kind of like, nah, like that.
No,
that,
yeah, dude,
you know what I
exactly.
mean? But for me, in my perspective, guys like yourself that are doing that stuff now, and we're in a different, you know, day and age of player-driven media, and we're at the end of the day in a collaboration of trying to grow baseball. So, what was kind of your mindset and breaking that trend, doing TV? Was it like, I'm just going to promote this game, I love it, and that's what I'm bringing energy to do?
Yeah, 100%. I feel like my personality kind of matched up with that right out of the gates.
Right.
And then I was very lucky. I was able to work with Fox like right out of the gate, which was really, really cool. Because when I retired, I did the car wash, dude. I did MLB, I did ESPN, I did Fox, bro. I did all of them. And now there's 8 million more platforms to work on now too. You know, but I think you guys understand it as well. I mean, look what you guys are doing. You're creating something amazing, as well as Moonball, bro. Like, you guys aren't just sitting still.
Right.
You're not just saying, oh man, I did a great job already, I'm good. And I think there's something to be said for that, because I follow people like y'all, because I'm like, yo, these guys are still grinding. You got all the money in the world, but you're still grinding, and you're still out there doing your thing. You're still out there with the John Boy stuff, bro. Like, just making it better. Like, not necessarily having an agenda, but just making the game better in your version of it, which I think is absolutely amazing, because we all have our own personalities.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's hard for people to let that personality shine.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Because it's almost kind of like they're hiding something, where they're like, oh, if I do this, I'm going to get exposed.
Yeah.
You know, or something like that. And that's kind of like, for me, I never had that.
Yeah, it's kind of like
you know what you're getting here, baby.
Yeah, you know what you're going to get.
Yeah.
Dayton Moore, our general manager, he always preached to us, give back to the game when you're done. Like, do what you can to give back to the game, whether it be with the players or the media, and you're doing that in every aspect right now, dude. It's incredible to see.
Yeah, but that's what. But D Moore, that's why he's a leader.
Yes.
And that's why you listen to him.
Yes.
Because he'll tell you things like that.
Yes.
He's like, yo, what's the saying? Too much is given, much is earned, or however that goes. It's like you have to do so many more things to give back, because at the end of the day, bro, this game, baseball, gave us everything we got.
Everything.
Yeah.
Gave me the roof over my head, the car that I drive, the food on my plate. Introduced me to my wife, gave me my children. So I'm like, I owe everything to this game.
Yes.
And people are always like, well, man, you're so passionate about the Yankees. And I'm like, bro, that organization, I owe everything to that organization.
Yeah.
And maybe one of these days I'll manage. Maybe. I'd like to think maybe I'll.
Is that the goal?
Sweet,
I feel
dude.
like I like that. You imagine the
dude.
vibe in that locker room? Oh, shit.
Swisher Sweet,
Hey,
baby.
if you
That
need
door's gonna be open.
I'd be like, yo, Haas, Moose, hey, bring them on over.
Yeah.
We have
I'd be like,
spring
hey,
training,
I got a
we're having a
job.
party.
Hey, I can't get on your floor, dog. I need your room key to get up there, baby. Come
Buzz
on,
me up.
man.
Buzz me up.
Swish, let me ask you this too, man. Talking about manager talk and all that. So your ability to connect as an older player, and then in Cleveland being around Tito, one thing I noticed those last couple years is like when younger players come up, especially in year 10, year 11, these dudes are different, man. Like they're into different things than what we were into. How yourself and Tito, how do you guys just continue to connect so well with each generation that just keeps coming through this game?
Well, I mean, by the way, like hats off to Tito, bro. I mean, the man's still
Legend,
doing it,
man.
right?
Still
I mean,
doing it.
legend, bro. Like
Legend.
the fact that he's able to do it in so many different places he has, took a little time off to get his health back,
Yeah.
and now he's back in it already.
Yeah, man.
But at the end of the day, he has a lot of ties in Cincy. So I mean, I think he was a bat boy. I think he's.
Oh, he was a back boy there?
Yeah, I think
Really?
he's a-
Grew up there and
I
all
think
that?
so.
That's awesome, man.
But at the end of the day, like he's a lifer.
He is.
He's a
dude.
lifer,
He is.
bro. And like he loves this game so much, but I feel like you have to always evolve because you can't get stuck in your own way.
Yeah.
Right? You can't get stuck on saying the same thing all the time because it has to evolve. Prime example, 49 years later, the New York Yankees amend the facial hair policy. You have to evolve.
So true, man.
And so like if you don't evolve and you don't stay up with the times, the game is just gonna pass you by.
Yeah.
Because these young cats now, bro, like a lot of them are like this. They're guarded. And if you're bro, they're just not going to get on you.
Right.
They're not going to be buying what you're selling. But like you're saying, if you're consistent about your approach and you're consistent about the way you're doing, I mean, bro, I'm Ted Lasso. I mean, that's really how I can go about it.
Yeah.
I mean, truly, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, if you think about it, bro, the believe thing, I put it up all over the place, bro. You know what I mean? Like, there's something to be said for all that. So I think when you, at least, I'm blessed to be able to at least have that opportunity to go with generations of players. And even now, bro, these 18, 19-year-old kids, bro, I mean, I'm like, bro, I'm twice their age.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm kind of like, okay, I got to dig into the things that these kids like. Because it may not be what I like, but if it's what they like, then I got to jump on it because we all got kids.
Yeah.
You could, hey, my daughter's a horse rider, bro. What the fuck? I don't know nothing about horse riding, bro. But I do now. I'm 8 years in, bro. I'll tell you all the lead changes, the
Speaking that language.
diagonals, bro, the fucking jumps. I got this, bro. All the equestrian shit.
That language
what
now.
they're judged on.
Yeah.
You got to
That's kind of
adapt.
one of those things where you just dig into it.
Yeah.
And so for me, I always want to stay evolved. I always want to keep up. But also I think deep down, we're kind of cool.
Yeah.
You know,
That's
there's something to be
right,
said
man.
for that. Something to be said for walking in and being like, yo, man, this guy's cool. You know, he may be old, but he's cool.
I tell my son that every day, dude. I'm like, hey, man, your daddy's pretty cool, buddy. Don't you ever forget that, all right?
I have a question. Just hearing how you just connect with different people is just so fascinating. We have a lot of coaches who watch this at different levels.
Yeah.
What advice do you have for these coaches who they want to learn the mechanics, they want to know everything about everything, but sometimes they're not connecting with the players as much as I think they should. What advice do you have for those kind of coaches?
So listen, I mean, I'm not your X's and O's guy, right? I get in your chest. And I feel like that's kind of how I go about my things. If there is a day for me to manage, I would do it a little differently than how it's run now. I would be kind of the overseer of the entire kind of platform of the organization. And in my pitching coach, I'm not going to tell you how to get more spin on your breaking ball. I don't know how to do that. But I'll hire the best pitching coach to do that. And I may not know why you're struggling at the plate. Maybe your hands are dropping the hole, and I could tell you, but I don't want to tell you. I'm the manager. I'm not supposed to be coaching you. I'm supposed to be motivating you 162 times a year. And so I think for me, that's my skill set. My skill set is, bro, I can get you pumped up every single day.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, that's what I do.
Yeah.
So being able to do that, it's like a manager's, I mean, I don't know how much the manager is really coaching players. He's really just kind of especially the managers. Now, if you're a hitting coach or a pitching coach, bro, get on the analytics, have a great understanding of that, but don't pump it down players' throats. Let them know, let them do their thing, and then you can figure out what they'll need and what they don't need. And for myself, that was kind of one of the biggest things for me is the analytical world. Totally different than what we came up with.
For sure.
Totally different.
Right? Totally different. But at the end of the day, it's great information.
Yeah.
But it's not great information if you don't know how to relay it to the player.
And that's where you said with the core four, that adaptability. The
Yes.
fact that,
Yes.
I know we're talking about locker room, but the fact that they were willing to be like, maybe we do need to loosen up a little bit, because their track record, man, like it spoke for itself.
Yes.
They didn't have to change and do all that. So I think it's the same thing with a lot of the guys, we played with that are now coaches with that adaptability. It's like analytics, man, like this, it's not it. But my view on it is like, dude, you got to adapt.
No doubt.
And you might not believe it, but you got to speak that language.
But also, too, I talk to my dad about this all the time. My dad played from 73 to 83. We talk about the one knee catching, the whole nine. He's like, oh, I'm off of the one knee. And I'm like, yeah, because that's what you were taught.
Right.
Like, let me give you some more information on why they're doing this. But the problem is people poo-poo on analytics before you actually can understand it.
Exactly.
And then that's my problem. It's like, how can you shit all over this and you don't even know what it's about?
Without knowing.
You
Exactly.
don't even know.
Yeah.
But that's the problem is if you don't dig into it enough and you don't actually take the time to understand why they're teaching these things, then, so be it. But if you want to be part of this game, that's part of the game.
Yeah.
You got to have that.
It's a tool.
It's a tool. It's information. And I feel like for me, having that information is one of the best things you can have.
Yeah.
Because I would like to think I would understand how to give players information on that stuff, and I do.
No doubt. And you're like being a baseball-minded guy. It's like, why don't I learn this language? And then I can break it down myself and let me see how I'm going to present it to the player. Like, what messages are these numbers telling me? And then how can I translate that message to the player?
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Well, because
I feel,
the individuals, the men and women that get this information, the analysts themselves, bro, they're so much smarter than us.
so much smarter.
So much smarter than us.
Yeah.
So why wouldn't we want to incorporate that sort of knowledge and education into our sport?
No
And
doubt,
you're the
dude.
bridge.
No doubt.
You're the bridge between like, okay, I know the baseball side. I got that. You guys know the analytics side. I can.
Let's team up.
Yes.
Let's make
Team
this
up.
happen.
Wow.
Yes.
Yes,
Does every
yes,
team
yes.
have a bridge though, or are a lot of guys relying on the analytics guys
think every
trying to
team-
present the information?
They need that bridge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Well,
think
by the way,
it's
you
key
think,
parts
I
of the
think of like Sammy
organization.
Fold.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Sam
Yeah.
Fold, who
Well, yeah.
got that GM job, right? But that's what he was doing.
Yeah,
He
but
was
what-
kind of the middleman between the analysts and the team, and he was taking all that information and making sure he was giving it to the right people.
Yeah.
That's how he got the general manager's job. So there's knowledge in that. There's power in understanding how analytics can help you.
Yeah.
Because it's not, it's great information. But the problem is if you push it away before you understand it, what are you doing?
What about with the Yankees, like young coaches that, maybe vent to you on the side about, hey man, look, it's easy for Nick Swisher to present this information because your
100%.
resume, your track record, you have that respect. How would you tell them to gain the respect of a player if they don't have that track record? Do you tell them, hey man, like we talked about earlier, baseball's a sport where these guys got to know you're consistent and
Yes.
every single day you got their back, and just trust that over a long period of time that it'll come around?
2 words I use: relationship and trust. Hands down.
Yeah.
That's easiest. And I think all of us as athletes understand that. Because if I don't trust you, I'm not going to listen to you. And I think there's something to be said for that, because trust is one of the easiest things to lose and the hardest things to gain. And so that's where it's like I tell these coaches, and Aaron Boone does it as well, and I've learned a lot from him just being around. I've gotten to learn from 2 of the best. I've gotten to learn from Brian Cashman on an everyday basis, bro. If that man's not in the Hall of Fame at some point, bro, it's out of control. He's so good at what he does. Every year he puts together a top caliber team, and he's not spending Guggenheim money.
Right.
So at the end of the day, he's one of those guys that has taught me so much. But Aaron Boone always talks about digging into relationships, dig into the players, get to know them, talk to them. Maybe don't talk to them about baseball. Maybe ask them how their wife's doing.
Yeah.
Maybe talk to me about your kids. Like, I think we focus so much on baseball all day long that we forget about all the little things that really matter in life.
And to add on that, how important is it with development, man? I tell people all the time, some of the best development I had came off the field, because it's an older guy taking me to dinner, man, and it changes the setting. It's not like this is work, man. As soon as I leave that door, it's just the same thing. Someone's, trying to find me, especially in this game when you struggle, more people are talking to you, more people come up to you.
Yes.
So then if I got a guy, I'm, a year or 2 in the league, and Nick Swisher's taking me to dinner, taking me to lunch, talk on that. That changes the game.
Huge,
as far
because
as
that happened to me. That happened to all of us.
Yeah.
All of us, dude. There was a veteran, and you could name it right now if I asked you. Who used to do that to you? Me, Jason Kendall.
Oh, kid.
Is he not one of the greatest human beings on the planet?
Without question.
One of the best, dude. And he is by far one of the toughest human beings I've ever met, and I've learned so much from him. just how he goes about his business, bro. He used to take me to the ballpark at noon.
Wow.
He used to be like, hey, meet me in the lobby at 11:55. We're leaving at noon.
Yeah.
I'd be like, bro, the game's at 7 o'clock. We're going to the ballpark at noon. Wow. So we would get there at like, what, 12:30?
Yeah.
And we'd go sit up in the stands while the grounds crews were doing the field.
Wow.
You can hear a pin drop. I get goosebumps thinking about it
Taking it all
because
in.
he's like, nobody gets the opportunity to do this.
Dang.
We're lucky enough to do this. And so he taught me so much about just how blessed we were to be able to be professional baseball players, that all that passion went into that. You know what I mean? And then I had Frank Thomas that very next year. Bro, we mashed that year. We went to ALCS that year, dude. Yeah. If Frank and I were together that whole season, I bet you we early hit 80 or 90 times that year.
That's awesome.
And if
How
you've
old
ever
was
seen-
Frank? Frank was 39 that year, wasn't he?
Bro, he finished like top 5 MVP that year.
Yeah, like 40
Clicked
pumps.
38, drove in
30-something
114, bro.
140.
38 pumps?
38 pumps. I had 35 that year, bro. We
Sorry about
were
it.
rocking, bro.
Sorry
In
about it.
Oakland, sorry about it. That was one of them things where it was like, I always kind of like gravitated towards those guys.
Yeah.
Just gravitated towards the Hall of Famers and the All-Stars because I wasn't that good. So I had to learn from them. Teach me. What are you doing that I'm not doing? And so like even I had Mike Piazza one year, bro, just talking to him about how the simplicity of some of these guys' approaches I was like, bro, I'm fucking out of it. I'm thinking about way too much shit right now, dude. These guys are only thinking about taking the barrel to the ball. Hot damn, how do you do that? You know what I mean? So I just feel like, I've been so blessed to learn from so many different people. I've played with multiple Hall of Famers, and I used to just chew their ear all day. So I just want to know, what are you doing that I'm not doing? And then if I couldn't get the opportunity to talk to them, I'd watch them.
Yeah, man.
And I just watch them go to work. Every day, Alex Rodriguez, bro, was so consistent in his work every single day. That's what I took away from Rod. Like every day he was prepared.
Yeah.
He'd go in there, he'd get his body right, he'd be in the gym, he'd be stretching, he'd be down the cage at the same time every day, doing the same routine off the tee, front flips, and then overhand. And I'm like, damn, I don't have a routine like that. I need to learn how to do that. Okay, all right, cool. Well, what's he doing? Okay, he's doing 5 swings to oppo, 5 pull, 5 middle. Okay, I'm gonna do that. Hey, K Long, hey, let me do the Rod thing. Let me do A-Rod's routine.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, I start banging. I'm like, oh shit. So we said about this consistency and having like a routine. But I think all of us learn that because you have the adaptability, bro.
Yeah.
You have to continually keep learning in life, dude. Not necessarily about the game, but about yourself.
Dude, that's so true. I would tell guys that in San Diego, man. Robbie Cano signed over with us. And it's the same thing. It doesn't even have to be talking to him, man, but just go watch him.
Just watch him.
Just watch him.
Yes.
I mean, this guy is Robinson Cano, which I'm going to ask you about that infield because that infield, oh my God, bro. But Robinson Cano, man, he would do that net drill on the field where it was flips. And he went out there with Tatis one day, same thing, dude. Tatis fucking hits one to the moon that night. Then it's like, hey, Robbie, can we,
We're gonna do that again?
a couple guys want to do
We're
that
gonna do it
again.
again, yeah.
Next thing you know, 3-4 guys start doing that drill. We had 10, 15 guys by the end of that drill out there on the field every day with fucking Robinson Cano, dude.
Yes.
Because he's a fucking leader, bro.
Yeah, oh yeah,
Because
man.
he was consistent about his approach. And it didn't fucking hurt that he was hitting 320.
Yeah,
Right?
loves baseball,
Loves
still
baseball, still
grinding.
playing. Still banging.
Still banging, baby.
We saw Robbie in Kaufman when we were playing him, and he went out early, put the net up, and was launching balls in the fountain. I'm like,
Yeah.
I know, right?
Yeah.
maybe I should be doing this too.
So
Yeah.
we used to do that drill all the time, called the net drill, right? And K Long and Robbie started it, and then I quickly jumped in on it. And Robbie and I would go competitions. And bro, I rarely won. I rarely won, but when I did, I talked
Robbie
some
did that.
serious shit.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Just letting him know. But at the end of the day, like for me, that was a drill that got me ready to hit that night.
Yeah.
Right? Because why are you taking batting practice? I'm not trying to show the world what I'm doing. I'm trying to get ready for 705.
Yep.
I'm trying to get ready for this dude throwing 100 miles an hour, well, especially in today's game. You know what I mean?
That makes me think, man, some of these teams, like you look around the league, man, and, not to judge or whatever, but you look at how some of the teams are being run, and it's like, you got guys hitting early with Robinson Cano, 10, 15, whatever, how many position players, and then you got another team doing this. It's like, man, some of these teams, the training and the day-to-day practice and repetitions you're getting, dude, it just makes you so much better as
well,
that player.
that just goes to show you the presence of a veteran
Yeah, oh, man,
and how huge it is to have somebody like that to kind of keep everybody in check.
big time.
Big time. You have to have those guys because if not, and just everything just gets a little haywire. And I think all of us know that. I mean, you're a veteran in the locker room when I was there, and I'm like, yo, I see how you're handling things. And that was kind of at the end of me for, in Atlanta. But it's just one of those things where you're like, man, like we're really doing this.
Mm-hmm.
Like we're still here. I still think to myself, like, holy shit, bro.
Yeah.
Can't believe I did that for 13 years,
Dude,
bro. Like that
that's-
was insane.
Dude, I'm in year 12 and we get Robinson Cano. And the first day he comes over there, I'm a group 1 BP guy, go in, get ready for the game. Okay, group 2, I get my glove and I'm like, I'm going to catch Robinson Cano's ground ball. I went right over there first, dude. I'm out there, 6:45, 7:05 game. I'm pretty sure it was in Atlanta. And they're like, how's you going in? I'm like, nah, I'm just going in. I'm going to stay right out here.
Yeah.
But that infield, dude.
Yeah.
Jeter, A-Rod, Teixeira. I mean,
Everybody bang, bro.
that's an iconic infield. I
What?
don't think there will be a
I don't
better
think
one.
there's ever going to be an infield like that. And
That whole lineup is ridiculous. Though.
we had like 8 or 9 dudes that had 20 plus pumps that year.
Unbelievable.
I mean, all of us had 850 OPSs and above.
Oh, my gosh.
I mean, it's like you just don't see that. I mean, now we're talking about an OPS like 650. It's
Yeah.
league average or something now.
Yeah, I mean, but just everything you look at from that infield, banged, hitters, power, defense. I mean, everything, bro.
All-stars, all of them.
Hall of Fame,
Superstars.
Yeah.
Not all-star, superstars.
Yeah.
For sure. And I remember when I first signed over with New York, and I was going to be the starting first baseman for about 36 hours, bro. And then they signed Tex for like $7 million or $800 million, or whatever the fuck they signed for.
Yeah.
Like $1.61 or something like that. And I'm like, well, my ass is going back to the outfield. So, but that was one of those things that I was lucky. I got to watch all them dudes work every day. Every day. And that's why if you look at the back of my baseball card, bro, my years in New York were so consistent because I was around those guys every day. And if there was a day where maybe I didn't want to get it done, somebody was holding me accountable to that.
No doubt,
Somebody
man.
was saying, hey, Swish, hey, your routine, man, hey, it's 2:45, man. You're supposed to be in a cage. What are you doing?
Yeah.
Oh, man, I'm tired. Hey, man, let's go. Let's
Need
go.
that.
Yeah,
Need
but that's
that.
what we won. We had those guys. Not only did we have the superstars, but we had the camaraderie. We had the guys pumping each other and making sure everybody was held accountable for the things they were doing. Early work, everybody was out there. Late work, whatever it was, if you had a bad game and somebody wanted to hit in the cage after the game, we were down there banging after the game. Because we just wanted to be there. It wasn't like the game was over and everybody just went home. It wasn't like that. That wasn't that team.
Wanted to be there. That's
Wanted to be
epic,
there.
How
man.
nice was it looking at the lineup card and be like, okay, I'm gonna have guys on base every single time I step up to the plate.
Dude.
Runners in scoring position.
Yes. Oh, I mean, I hit 8th in 09. I had 6 or 7 scouting reports by the time I hit.
Yeah. That's a
Because
big
that
deal.
was one of those things that we did. We communicated so much. Derek would talk, and then Rod would talk, and Cano, and Tex, and Posada, and Cano. Everyone's talking about the at-bats,
Yeah.
what the pitcher's doing. I think sometimes in today's game, you see a lot of iPads.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You don't see as much of the communication.
Yeah.
You know, be like, hey, man, you can see what you want on that iPad, but hey, that breaking ball's moving more than you think.
No
Yeah.
doubt.
Right? Or that fastball's jumping on me a lot quicker than what I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
It looks like he's a little shorter today.
No doubt. It's like as an offense, the best teams that I've played on, we felt like it's a 9 versus 1 approach.
9 versus 1, yes.
And like,
That's a
you
great way to put
know,
it.
by being on the top step, I know Moose's plan because it's the same plan as mine. So like if it's, hey man, see the breaking ball above his head, not even at the chest, and he lays off that breaking ball down, it's like, yeah, man,
hell
that's a
yeah,
win.
bro. Hell
Like
yeah.
that's a small win, you know what I mean?
But also, too, you guys were at the top step, and you were watching each other's at bats. Because
Invested
I know for me, I would look in the lineup and I'd be like, okay, who's going to get pitched the way I think I'm going to get pitched?
Right.
Like you were saying, it's the same approach, right? And so I'm like, oh, man, he throwing breaking balls early to the
Yeah.
lefties today.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so hey, I'm 8th, bro. I'm ready to go. First pitch breaking ball, I'm on it.
Yep.
You know,
Just
because
watch.
you just sit there and you watch and you learn. You know, guys aren't down in the tunnel as much anymore.
Right.
You know, guys were up on the top step and they were watching the at-bats. And I think there's something to be said for all that.
And you're invested in your teammate, right? You're invested in what he's doing, cheering for him, instead of breaking down your at-bat on the iPad and you're missing what's actually happening on the field.
Yeah, but you know how it is, dude. It's like, you know, it's a very selfish world.
Yeah.
Right? It's an I, me world. And so it's hard to get guys to get off of that. That's why you got to get them on your plan. You got to sell them. You got to get them invested in what you're doing.
No doubt. My best years individually, and it's crazy to say this because in my opinion in Major League Baseball, when the sole focus for the players is on winning, believe it or not, I think it's hard for that sole focus to be on winning. We talked to a couple of Royals guys yesterday, and I'm like, dude, I'm fired up because now we're at that point where we're locked in on winning. We made the playoffs last year. We're adding that 9 versus 1 approach. You're taking it together, this battle as a team. So when I'm going back to my locker, like literally everything we're prepping for is to win that game. This is our approach. This is what we're doing here. And then next thing you know, you get a couple hits. You're doing your part to produce. You know what I mean? Because you feel like you're buying into the approach, the team. There's some years, man, where we were rough, especially first year in San Diego, dude. You're going back to your locker and it's like, Man, dude, like, yeah, dude, it was a 1 for 3 with a walk. We lost, pretty standard night, dude. And when you have to like wear individually your performance every night, man, that is not fun.
Well, it just wears on you, and
Oh,
it just chews you
God.
up. And it's all of a sudden you're like, dude, this used to be dark. Now it's white, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, just because the stress levels start to come into play. But I think that a lot of the more unselfish teams are the teams that win.
Yeah.
You know, when it's not necessarily all about me. Or I might go up there and have a at bat, but I put my bat and my helmet down, and I'm pumping the next guy up. I'm there on the top step. I'm watching him. I'm pumping him up because I'm not worried about myself. And one of the best things and one of the best pieces of advice that I got in my career, I'm sure you guys have heard this as well, whenever you're going through the stop thinking about yourself. Start worrying about everything else that's happening besides what's happening in your world.
Dude.
And I think there's so much truth to that because I think energetically, when you're pushing that energy off on other people, I think it comes back to you as well.
Right.
I mean, obviously I'm an energy guy. I appreciate that. But when you're solely focused on yourself and you're just, I remember I was in Cleveland where I went through like an 0 for 28 stretch, bro. You want to talk about being selfish, bro? I'm like, dude, what am I doing? I'm not watching any of the game. I can't hit, dude. I'm like, what am I doing? The whole nine. But then when you stop paying attention to what you're doing, and you start paying attention to what everybody else is doing, you forget about the struggles you're going through. And it makes it less stressful.
Dude, again, that's back to the Yankees, man. That's what's so special about, I think, what they got going on over there is because you look at Judge, man. As an individual on that team, if you're feeling like that, how do you not just look at this dude and be like, if this dude's preaching winning, he's going to the most out of anybody
If this guy's doing it, why can't I do
need
that?
to put my head down and just lock in, you know?
I agree.
Man, that's how
100%,
Swish.
man.
You're the man, dude. We can't tell you enough how much we appreciate you and what you're doing for the game because you were that guy to do different things, man, and you made it cool now, which is why we got some microphones over here while we're doing what we're doing, man.
No, I mean, listen, I'm going to send that love right back to y'all, man. I mean, what you guys are doing, obviously I followed you guys from the beginning just to see the growth of what you guys are doing and just the overall production value and the whole nine. Everything's gotten better. And now to see this in person, I'm like, now I see why. Right? You've got an amazing group that work for y'all.
Thank you.
I hope everything, Sarah Telly, the whole nine with Moonball, what you got going on, cuz I think it's going to be absolutely amazing.
Thank you.
So
That's
what
awesome.
you guys are doing, man, keep doing it.
Thank you,
Because
sir.
that younger generation's watching.
Yes.
And they're paying attention.
Yes, and we need the Home Run Derby X. That's something you're
Well, you know
involved
you guys
in
are coming,
as
man.
well.
I'll come to your front door and
Let's
pick
go,
you up,
baby.
bro.
Hey,
and
let's-
take you down.
That door's
Bring the
always
juice.
open, buddy.
Yeah,
You can
because
come
at the end
in.
of the day, like, we're trying to find that. I mean, I think we're all looking at the success that Savannah Bananas are having at this moment right now. And that fans first mentality really plays. I mean, people like to be appreciated.
Oh, man.
And so I think with what we're doing, especially on the minor league side of things, we're putting them in minor league ballparks and we're selling out everywhere we go. But it's also selfishly, it's a little bit for us to still go out there and still do what we want to do, you know? Which is amazing. It's like our version of the big three.
Yeah.
So, and not only that, I think just for myself being a girl dad, and I know some of us have girls here, it's like pumping up the softball side of it too. There needs to be a little more collabs with that.
Yes.
For sure.
The fact that we don't have any Major League Baseball with softball at all, you see what's happening in the WNBA and the NBA.
Oh, yeah.
The reason why the WNBA is going up, not only Caitlin Clark, but all the NBA guys that are showing up at the games.
Yep.
Yeah, and Sarah Telly told us he got back from North Carolina and said, "Hey, these girls can swing it, boys.
They
You
can
guys better be ready to
bro,
go,
I'm
dude.
telling you,
better
dude.
be ready
Well, by
to
the
go."
way, they're better than us.
Yeah, for
sure. But at the end of the day, it's pumping their sport as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there's something to be said for that. So this baseball, softball collab we've got going with this HRDX, I don't think that we could be doing it any better.
Yeah.
Charlie Hill, Kellum Salter have just been absolutely fantastic with this. We're going to continue to keep this thing pushing forward, bro. We're going to be in the All-Star game before you know it. Ain't no doubt about it. And so that's why it's like, to be able to have the ability to have these relationships in place, to be able to call guys like yourselves, to be like, hey, man, I need you. And by the way, you know how it is. It's like when the fraternity calls, you pick the phone up.
No doubt.
You pick it up.
No doubt.
And so I think that, you guys get it, man. You want to make the game bigger and better than what it was when we were there. You want to get more eyes on it and the whole nine. And being able to provide different versions of the sport, I think is really, really crucial.
Dude, and you guys bringing that party to Kansas City and being like, I'm hitting Haas and Moose up is cool as shit.
Well, by the way, but I think
fired up.
strategically we're trying to, right?
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, people in Kansas City don't want to see Nick Swisher. They're like, who the f is that guy? But they know who Eric Hosmer is. Moustakis, bro. Bring in Zobrist, bro. Like, bring in the boys. You know what I'm saying? Like, because they come out for that. It's very nostalgic. And so for myself, I mean, obviously kind of being one of the heads, like, I try and make it that fans first mentality. We're standing there when the doors open up. We're high-fiving all the kids and the parents when they come through.
Yeah.
Because we want them to understand and thank them for the love that they're giving us.
Yes. Sure.
Right? I mean, tickets are cheap. right? They're best seats in the house, bro, and we shrink the field. You know how nice it is hitting on a field that's only 320 to center?
My.
I'm like, bro, I can mash.
You know how Kaufman is, dude. I'm ready for it.
I
We're
can't
playing at
wait,
that
dude.
graveyard our whole life, man. I'm ready
Yeah,
for
I
it.
can't wait, man. You guys are absolutely killing it. I'm so blessed to be able to be here
Oh,
and to
thank
finally
you.
see you guys. I feel like I see you guys on Insta all the time. So
Yeah,
like, now that
baby.
I finally get to see you guys, it's been amazing. But you guys are doing it, man.
And we busted the roll call out.
Oh,
baby.
yeah.
We busted it out.
Oh my God!
Yeah.